I didn't have self-confidence issue until I begin to work with a toxic person and I begin to question my self-confidence. I begin to question my abilities. I begin to question my personality. So sometimes when some people say some things, I just smile because some people feel like you don't they don't know what you've been through. They don't know your experience. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Comfort Adegoke and I welcome you back to another amazing episode of Purpose Show. This week is really going to be life changing and I want you to don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button so that you get notified anytime I drop a new video. Make sure you do what? Make sure you share this video with somebody. Apart from sharing this video, kindly leave a comment. I want to read from you. This week we're going to be talking about how to build self-confidence and courage. Now, one of the things that I realized when I grew up was the fact that growing up from the kind of home I grew up from, it helped me. My parents, it's not as if they are so wealthy, but they instilled the right kind of mindset in us right from childhood. You know, I heard my dad say, oh, you can do anything you set your mind to do as long as you are disciplined and you are determined to achieve it. So I grew up in this kind of mindset. I grew up with this kind of mindset and it so much helped my confidence. But I have seen people struggle so much with self-confidence. They've struggled so much with self-esteem. When we were younger, we were Muslims. So at that time when we were growing up, we didn't grow up as Christians. So my identity, I don't know anything how you're a child of God or you're not a child of God. So I see my dad as a role model because he has overcome a lot of challenges and that helped me. So when I see people who are not who do not have so much confidence as they should, I kind of feel like, oh, I wish they had people who can really help them at a young age. I didn't have self-confidence issue until I begin to work with a toxic person and I begin to question my self-confidence. I begin to question my abilities. I begin to question my personality. So sometimes when some people say some things, I just smile because some people feel like you don't they don't know what you've been through. They don't know your experience. When I started working with a toxic person, my self-confidence was questioned. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. Yes, I grew up with a very good parent that helped my self-esteem and they made me self-confident and they taught me a lot of things about myself. But at that point, my self-confidence was questioned. And I'll be sharing some of the things that helped me at that time. Okay. Now, the number one thing you must do as a person is to know who you are, your identity. So I always have this mindset. That no, I know who my father is. I can't do this. I can't do that. So the first thing I did at the point where my self-confidence was questioned was to go back to who I am. You know, sometimes you forget your identity. You forget what God has embedded inside of you. So I just sat down and I begin to remember. I begin to remind myself. You know, a lot of times we talk too much. We are distracted. But when you are able to settle down and say, okay, who am I? What do I carry? What are my potentials? Okay. So I begin to remind myself of my identity. I begin to remind myself of the things I'm able to do. I begin to remind myself of who I am. So the first thing you must do is to get an identity. Know who you are. Know what you carry. Know the privileges that you have. A king's daughter, a princess. If a princess does not know who she is, a slave can convince her and she will think otherwise. So know your identity, know the potentials you carry, know who you are. And no matter what happened, always remind yourself that, whoa, this is me. This is who I am. And with that, idea, it will go a long way to help you. The next thing I would say is very important for you to do is maximize your strength. Maximize your strength. There was a time our mentor, he was having, we're having a mentorship session, and he spoke to us about how a lot of people focus so much on their weakness and they forget about their strength. Do not focus on your weakness. Yes, you acknowledge that those weaknesses are there, but don't focus on your weakness. No one will applaud you in your weakness. That's the truth. No one will applaud you in your weakness. But everyone, even people that are jealous, people that do not like you, people that are not even interested in you, they will celebrate you in your strength. And your strength doesn't have to be 1,000 things. It could be one thing. But you are getting results from that strength of yours. So focus more on getting results from your strength. So that when anything come up, or when people say, oh, this, that, you are constantly motivated. You are constantly encouraged by your strength. So don't focus so much on your weakness. Someone might be using your weaknesses against you, but do not focus on your weakness. Get results from your strength. I've faced a lot of challenges in life. I have met people who are gurus, who are experts at what they do. But hey, I'm also an expert at what I do. So I focus more on what I have strength in. Because if you do not know what you have, you don't know your strength, you're not getting results from your strength. It will be as if, oh, you are a nobody. It will be as if you are not relevant.